Welcome. r/AskReddit. Women, what do you not understand about men? Okay, serious question. I'm 30 and been in one relationship that ended 6 years ago. Haven't been in a relationship since. Why do guys in my inbox tell me you're so beautiful, or let's do this, or let's do that, but they're all over every girl that I see on social media, commenting hearts on selfies when you're telling me you wanna date me? I don't understand, so I just stay away from everyone. Edit. Thank you all so much for the advice, the input, the messages, the everything. I appreciate them all, and I'm going through the rest of them now. Personally, while I agree with expressing emotions whenever you can, it can be hard to start telling someone and see the drop of interest in their eyes. Then as I'm talking, I'm slowly realizing that my problems or pains aren't nearly as bad as others, or this possibly. Those without homes, jobs, family, parents. Other parts of what I'm saying makes me realize that my explanation to you about my feelings start to turn into excuses and not real reasons for my anger/jealousy/depression. Just like most of us in the world, I hate being wrong. I hate realizing, especially on my own through my own explanations, that my anger is caused by just my mind. From the perspective of a male who is open about their feelings, it takes a lot to be open about it, because of a few reasons. Key reasons for me include partner gossiping to their family/friends about my vulnerabilities, not understanding why I feel a particular way, so how can I possibly explain this to someone else? Sometimes I just want alone time, because I need space, though it comes across as rude, so I just suffer in silence. Smell is a very strong sense when it comes to forming memories and linking between them. It follows, then, that smell is very easily associated with sex, maybe even more so than other sensory information. Even if pheromone theory is total bullshit, which it probably isn't, but that's debatable, by the very nature of how human memory works, an intense association between the smell of sex and the act/memory of the act shouldn't therefore be particularly uncommon. Why do men who have multiple children by multiple different women always trash the women? Of course this applies to women who are in the same situation, but to me, it says more about his tastes in women than about them being the problem. I'm pretty sure that they already knew that at least half of them were already a problem before they had unprotected sex with them, but brushed it aside, because most likely she is very attractive. It's sad because it's truly the children who suffer and have to grow up in that toxic environment when everyone could been happy if either participants would have chosen a stable enough partner to create that bond with. One thing I've noticed in my work over the years is that a lot of men get genuinely angry to the point of yelling/starting fights if they feel you are threatening their leadership in any way. When I first started my job with years of experience, I would ask about small ways to improve the efficiency, since they were making the job much harder than it should have been. I was always really polite, but no matter what he would get angry and literally throw his keys at me and ask if I wanted to be in charge. It stopped when I stopped trying to help, and efficiency is why I down. Why are so many men threatened by a helping hand? Edit. I've come to realize this is not solely a male-centric question, as not just the men in charge have issues with authority and power. I'm a guy and my female partner is the same way. I'm not the cleanest person in the world by any means, but I really hate clutter. My wife will leave dishes in the bedroom or on the coffee table for hours, and I'm left to wonder, doesn't this drive you crazy? Why doesn't it drive you crazy? I've actually never asked her about this, as I can't think of a way to ask without coming across as being confrontational, and in the grand scheme of things, she's great and we're happy. I can be the one who moves dishes to the sink and declutters things in general. It really isn't a big deal. Also, when something has to be cleaned thoroughly, she does a way better job than I do. Edit. A word. Why men often don't have a natural urge to clean up after themselves and/or paternal instincts. How do you not react to a baby crying in a grocery store? How do you not wash your laundry as soon as the hamper is full? I don't get it. Edit. Lol guys. When I hear a baby crying in the grocery store, my immediate reaction is to look to see where it's coming from as I'm walking, just keeping an eye out. This is really only if it's a major cry, just to make sure the child isn't hurt/alone. I've noticed most women I know do the same. My fiancée, however, barely notices that a baby was even crying in the first place, and I find it funny. It was literally a joke. I'm not going to respond to the comments because there's too many, and y'all got way too aggressive amongst yourselves as people often do on Reddit, but enjoy your day. Tiddles. How do they always know what that guy is really up to? I'll speak to this one. My wife, GF at the time, used to work at a burger joint a long time ago. One of her coworkers was a guy that I knew had a thing for my GF. The reason I knew was because he was simultaneously nervous around me while also poking fun at me when I came around. Her other co-workers were very polite and normal, both guys and gals. But this dude always acted off around me, which led me to believe something was up. Even though this guy had no reason to be threatened by me, he was showing all the signs that he was, which revealed he had secret motivations. At the time, I told my wife that the guy just gave me bad vibes, but she didn't think anything was strange. Sure enough though, I went out bowling with her and a group of her coworkers, and I had to tell him off for trying to grab her leg and taking pics of her. But when she went up to bowl, TLDR, if a dude is acting weird around your GF/wife when you're around, it's because he has intentions with her that he thinks you'd take issue with. We do get paternal instincts. They're just not the same as maternal instincts. Also, adult men aren't socially allowed to be affectionate to children in public. When we hear our babies crying, our instinct is to check for threats and assess the situation. When walking in a strange place with our families, we shift ourselves, so we are between our families and potential threats. Cave mom looks out for cave baby, and cave dad looks out for cougars and shit, and then for cave mom and cave baby. Also, we do have nurturing instincts. It's just one of the worst societal taboos for a man to be affectionate with a child in public without a mother present, even if it's his kid or family member. Men get the police called on them for going to the playground with their own daughters. It's almost always laughed off and nobody gets hurt when the truth comes out, but still, men aren't allowed to be nice to kids. So many of these questions are answered when you consider that men are socially conditioned to ignore or suppress their emotions their entire life. This causes an emotional immaturity that then leaves them unable to comprehend, appropriately respond, or even interact with others. This also has a profound impact on their self-esteem, which they are unable to deal with because of how unfamiliar they are with their emotions. This is not an excuse. This also is not me saying woe is men, look how bad we have it. I do hope this helps foster an understanding though, that it is a problem for many men, and that it is not just the nature of men. Obvious generalizations, as the question requires. It's not that men are less interested in commitment, it's that societally there is a lot less pressure on us to be committed. Men don't have to deal with the, oh you're 28, better find a man quickly before your clock runs out bullshit. Because of that, women are much more likely to force themselves into a commitment situation, where a dude would just be like, hey, I'm gonna check out what else is out there. I'm sure there are a lot of other sociological and psychological reasons behind it, but I think that's the biggest one. Most of the women I've known my entire life won't break up with a guy until they have one ready to go, warmed up in the bullpen ready to take their place. Some guys always have to be in a relationship to, but I just think it's much more common because of the societal pressure forced on women from a young age. Or maybe I'm just full of shit and guessing like everyone else. But that's how I see it. A couple of things. Being very generic. My ex and a lot of my male friends are very generic. Not the usual stuff like not knowing what to eat, but like me asking about something that should have a straight answer. Things like, are you going to be available for lunch? Or will you be busy? Do you like, insert meme, idea, or object here? Things like that. And apparently, in the minds of boys, I don't know, can mean lots of things. Like I really don't know, I don't care, yes, no, and I really believe you should do what you think is best / no opinion at all, you decide. Oh lord. Sometimes it's like talking in another language. The fact that boys aren't educated with the female reproductive system. I only know about the male reproductive system outside of 7th grade science because I have a lot of male friends and sometimes they tell me about things that had happened, and b, my parents got me a science book that had the reproductive system and pregnancy as the last chapter, and I would read this book every day before school and middle school. Like, they should know about periods, and they really should know female anatomy. I swear, boys should have a test at one point in their lives, like in science class or something, called Label the Hole, and it should be 3 points, one for each hole. 1. I think it depends on each person. It can even depend on the state of mind, the circumstances, or, emphasizing the first thing, perhaps people are more common than in your way of seeing. They are generic. I think about that, and I really think that at least I would do it differently. 2. You're right. Sometimes when talking to friends I'm ashamed how little I know about their bodies, and I really believe that the only culprit is yourself. It depends on each school or educational system to teach you about it. But, man, if you are going to be with a girl, learn something about her body. It is even logical to do it, because of the need to have basic knowledge, even mandatory I would say. And I approve of your teaching method for kids. It looks like fun. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.